I'm already prepared. Tea's ready. This is my second cup. First one was honey lavender. This one is lavender chamomile. Both very calming because I am just a ball of nerves. The more that I ground myself and get in touch with my body, the more I realize why I have not existed in my body for most of my life, because my body is just completely traumatized and it's hard to be physically in this vessel. But I'm working on it and feeling okay, just talking about how uncomfortable it is for me. And I'm just feeling incredibly loquacious this morning, social, talkative, all that great stuff. So figured, since I was catching up with friends from weeks ago, because that's just literally how my life works now. I cannot respond to things in real time, and it's frustrating for me because I'm a very to-do kind of person in some ways. That I should just make a video and see what comes out of me, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. Not exactly what I had intended to talk about in the videos I wanted to make this week, but that's life. It always ends up going in some other way than planned. So I think what I'm really feeling right now, well, one, I'm just feeling and I don't know what these videos are, nobody watches them really, and I'm fine with that. I've been talking to my therapist, so much of doing this is an exercise for me, and I say that a lot, but it's giving myself permission and the courage and the freedom to speak freely and publicly and vulnerably and not feel like I don't have a right to be heard or what I say doesn't matter. Because it does, and I do. So, the thing that I've really been, I think, struggling with, both in this channel and just in my life, that it's kind of coalescing in my head, is this opposition, which I talked about in the last video, between spirituality and trauma. Because I feel like in a lot of the spiritual community, at least what I'm into, trying to ascend to the 5D, if you follow any of that crazy stuff, that so much of getting to that ascension process, which is not necessarily physical, I really don't want to perpetuate this stereotype that we're going to be transported or anything. It's really not like that. It's just another way of saying enlightenment or nirvana. I mean, honestly, it would be the most simple way to put it. But in kind of working through this ascension process, when I kind of started getting back into spirituality, I think I wanted to jump the gun in a lot of ways. And I think that I felt very much to ascend meant to let go of trauma. That some of it I'd been carrying with me for a long time and had never resolved, despite beating it like a dead horse. And some of it was newer and had not even had really the chance to process. But either way, I think I felt subconsciously, by no fault of anyone else, just my own way of interpreting the message, was I had to let go of all of this trauma in order to ascend. And if I couldn't let go and forgive and get beyond, then, well, I'm never gonna go higher. I'm never gonna get somewhere, spiritually speaking. And that was very difficult for me, because I was kind of trying to bypass everything, which is an actual term of spiritual bypassing, where in a way you use spirituality to minimize very real, important experiences and situations and just things that matter. Everything can be spiritualized away, oh, it'll all work out, just light and love, and I used to be so oh, that's so mean to get against those people, but I understand the importance now. Spirituality, I said before, is the lens that I view life through in a spiritual way, but that doesn't stop life from being very tangible and three-dimensional and dirty and messy and complicated. Spirituality does not remove you from that. I don't think you can remove yourself from it when you're physically on this planet, thanks to gravity and a number of other forces at play. So I think for a while, for a couple months, I was really focusing on the spiritual aspect as a way to ascend and to just quickly release the trauma that just truthfully had never been tended to and was not resolved by any means. And in starting to make these videos, realizing that I still had a lot I needed to say, and then feeling bad that I needed to say it because I thought it was totally off-brand in a way with spirituality, and it made me so not spiritual that I couldn't talk about these very kind of triggering, heavy, messy topics, and then consider myself to be someone that's trying to let it all go and like just let it be. And so I'm really challenging myself in creating these videos to keep working through this process and to keep making spirituality a place where you can allow for healing. And it's not about just letting everything go. Not everything gets to be let go. Not everything deserves to be let go. Some things I think need to be integrated, or they need to be tended to longer than just being like, okay, I release you, you know. And I don't mean to mock or minimize anyone else. It's just really how I had internalized and interpreted the situation that was working to my own detriment. And I realized, no, I am still a very spiritual person and still very much working on ascension while working through trauma. And that is how I will ascend, is by working through this trauma, not just letting it go, because I'm not able to fucking let it go. There's no such thing as just letting it go. It is like an integral part of me. So I need to understand it, and I need to, you know, if it's the shadow self, I need to integrate it. I need to love it. I need to let it speak. And that's what I'm doing, because for so long I haven't had a voice. I've second guessed myself. I've tried to perform. I've tried to be the person that I think the rest of the world needs me to be, instead of just being myself and being comfortable with that and being perceived as that. And so I haven't stopped, and I'm not going to stop, because this really benefits me, whether anyone watches it or not. On my Instagram too, on the videos I send my friends, and Marco Polo, and the shit in Clubhouse I just joined, it's not about the audience, you know? And I think that's usually the thing that gets people to stop doing it. It's a hard thing to keep doing it and be like, well, what is really the point? What's the end goal? Am I trying to monetize this? Am I trying to be a YouTube star? It's like, no, I'm trying to just work through my issues and be public about it, because I want to be, and it helps me, and I like it. And I feel like I have learned so much from others being that way, that it's something I really value, to be able to give that back in some form to other people that may randomly find this. So yeah, I just think that's kind of the crux of everything, is that I am still a very spiritual person, and saying that these videos are only dealing with covert narcissistic abuse and not at all about spirituality is a misnomer, because it really is about how I'm dealing with this trauma and working through it as a spiritual person. Because I think if I were not a spiritual person, the way that I would be dealing with this would be in a much more unhealthy and negative fashion. That has been me in the past, and that is how I have coped in the past, and that's not who I am now. So yeah, this is that attempt. So I would really encourage anybody that feels similarly about if you're into the ascension process, or you're dealing with abuse, and you feel that you're in a spiritual person and you're somehow at odds or at conflict because of the situation you find yourself in, that's completely not the case. That spirituality is the vehicle that helps you get through the tough parts of life, and it's not separate from the toughness of life. It's how you cope. It's how you make sense of it, how you get through it, how you grow stronger and you learn. And I'm still learning. I'm still making mistakes. I'm still getting hurt. I'm still re-traumatizing my damn self. And it sucks, but what really doesn't suck about it is the fact that I have the awareness to know. You know, where before, for so long, I was so blind and just fumbling in the dark and looking for all the wrong people to help me. And they were taking my hand and just leading me further into darkness. And being able to trust myself now, so I guess implicitly, is a huge power that I've never had before. And I'm really grateful for it. And I just really, I just want to keep doing this. It makes me feel good. It makes me happy. I like it. I feel like I've accomplished something, even if it means nothing to anyone else but me. It's a legacy for myself, and a little time capsule for as long as this platform exists, for as long as the internet's around, for as long as we're still here. You know, maybe someday someone will find this and it will resonate. Maybe someday, you know, my kid will find this and they'll understand me in a way that they didn't before. I don't know. I would be okay with them seeing this. I want them to know me as a person. I think that's probably the biggest thing that our parents, or at least I could say my parents, did to us, did to me, is you know, I came from this parenting where like it's like the hierarchical mother child, parent knows more, and you are just kind of like kept shielded from so much of life because their role is to protect you. And I believe that that is the role of a parent up into a certain point. And then once your child enters the adult life, I mean, it's not your job to burden them by any means with your reality, but I also think it's an opportunity at that point, and probably always along the way, to let them know that you are a human. Like, you're a human that's capable of protecting them, and that will protect them, and that is physically stronger than them and mentally currently more capable than them, not in like a belittling way, but to be able to reassure them while still letting them know that you are not an all-knowing God, which I think children often do. And I don't know exactly how I will broach that dynamic with my child, but it's something that I really want for her, so that the bubble is not popped someday and you go, oh, mommy and daddy were really just human. Like, yeah, your dad's incredibly human. And me too, you know? And that's okay. And that doesn't mean that I can't still be your parent and I can't still protect you. That's what I'm here to do now at this point. That's what helps me protect myself. It's always now this lens of I'm somebody's mother more than anything. You know, I wasn't able as much before my kid to really defend myself. But now when I think of it through, I need to be here for them, is what does it for me. So I'm going to end this. I don't want to ramble. Feel like I said something. So have a good day. Drink some tea. It's pretty nice out. It's getting humid. It's rainy. I'm sweaty and could shower, but whatever. I'm just going to be dirty tomorrow. So I'll just stay dirty. Thanks. Bye.